We know how to change the subject of a formula. Now let's look at how to change the subject in more difficult cases where the variable is on both sides. Here's an example. I want to make x the subject of the formula. The problem is there's a bracket on the left hand side, so I'm first going to expand. 3 times x is 3x, 3 times 4 is 12, so I have 3x plus 12 equals ax plus c. Because I want to make x the subject, I'm going to get all of the x's onto one side of the equation. I'm going to take all the x's over to the left hand side. To do that, I'm going to take away ax from both sides, so that on the left hand side I have 3x take away ax plus 12, and that equals c. I'm now going to take away 12 from both sides so that all of the x's are on the left hand side of the equation. So I have 3x take away ax equals c minus 12. You might be wondering, how are we going to simplify the left hand side, because I don't know what a is. What I need to do is take out a factor of x. So if I do that, I get x bracket 3 minus a. And on the right hand side, I simply have c minus 12. Finally, I know that I have x times 3 minus a on the left hand side, so I'm going to divide both sides by 3 minus a. This will give me x equals c minus 12 divided by 3 minus a as my final answer. Here's another example for us to try. I want to make y the subject of this formula. The first I'm going to do is expand the bracket on the left hand side, giving me py minus 3p equals yp squared plus qy. As before, I'm going to get all of the y terms onto the left hand side. So I'm going to subtract yp squared from both sides and subtract qy from both sides, which will give me py take away yp squared, or we could say p squared y, take away qy, take away 3p equals 0. I'm now going to add 3p to both sides, which will just give me py take away p squared y, take away qy equals 3p. As before, every term on the left hand side has a y, so I can take out a factor of y, giving me p take away p squared, take away q, and that all equals 3p. Finally, I know that I have y multiplied by that entire bracket, so I'm going to divide both sides by the bracket, giving me a final answer of y equals 3p over p minus p squared minus q. Here are some practice questions for you to try. In each case, I would like you to make x the subject of the formulae. Please pause the video now and have a go, and when you're ready for the answers, press play. Here are the answers. You may have some slightly different looking answers which are still correct. For example, in the second question, you might have an answer of x equals 4a over minus 3 minus a. That's fine. And in the last question, you might have an answer of minus 10 over 9 minus k. That's also fine. Here are some more tricky questions. In this question, we want to make x the subject of the formula. The problem is that I have an x minus 2 on the bottom of a fraction on the right. To essentially bring this up to the other side, I can multiply both sides by x minus 2. This will leave me with p times x minus 2 equals 3x plus 4. We can then, as before, expand the bracket on the left to get px minus 2p equals 3x plus 4. I can subtract 3x from both sides to get px take away 3x, take away 2p equals 4. I could then add 2p to both sides, and I could take out a factor of x to give me x times p minus 3 equal to 4 plus 2p. And finally, I could divide both sides by p minus 3, giving me a final answer of 4 plus 2, of x equals 4 plus 2p, don't forget the x equals, over p minus 3. In this question, I want to make y the subject of the formula. To deal with the 4y on the bottom of the fraction on the left, I'm going to first multiply both sides by 4y. Remember, when I multiply by 4y, it's the same as multiplying by 4y over 1. So on the left-hand side of the fraction, the 4y's cancel, giving me 2y plus 3. On the right-hand side of the equation, I have 2x plus 4, all multiplied by 4y, over 5 times 1, which is just 5. To deal with this 5, I could multiply both sides at this stage by 5, giving me on the left-hand side 5 times 2y plus 3, and on the right-hand side 4y bracket 2x plus 4. Essentially the 5's cancel. I could now expand these brackets. On the left-hand side I would have 10y plus 15. On the right-hand side I would have 8xy plus 16y. I'm going to get all of the y terms onto the left, giving me 10y, take away 8xy, take away 16y. I can subtract 15 from both sides, so I have minus 15 on the right. 10y take away 16y is minus 6y. So I have minus 6y, take away 8xy equals minus 15. I could take out a factor of y, which would give me minus y bracket minus 6, take away 8x, and that equals minus 15. I could then divide both sides by minus 6 take away 8x, giving me y equals minus 15 over minus 6 take away 8x. But you could also multiply the top and the bottom of the fraction by minus 1, which will give you a much nicer looking y equals 15 over 6 plus 8x. But both of them are valid. Here are some practice questions for you to try. Please pause the video now and have a go, and when you're ready for the answers, press play. Here are the answers.